This will also take a few moments, so let's be patient and wait for the login window to come in. Okay, so once the login window comes in, we'll go to the home page. And before we do anything, we want to make sure that we have the Paint repository deployed, and this is what we have here. That is good. So we'll go ahead and start the process of creating and running an analysis. So we'll click on Paint in this. Once the Paint subject area opens on the left pane, in the left navigation pane, we expand the Paint subject area and confirm that the user interface matches the presentation layer of the repository. So we can always expand each and every one of these tables just to make sure that we have some columns available that we drag over to the presentation layer. Then we can do the same. There we go. Okay, that is. So we'll go ahead and create an analysis and run one. So from the timetable, we want to choose the grade year column, and we'll choose it by double clicking on it. And this brings it into the selected columns view window. Then under the product, we want to choose the brand. And this also brings it to the selected columns. And under facts, we want to choose the revenue, or which is the dollars in this case. So we double click on it. After we bring over all the columns that we want, we'll go ahead and click on results. And this retrieves the grade year, which is a Gregorian year, the brand, and the dollars for each of the different products that we sold in each of the respective years. The analysis results are displayed in what is known as a compound layout, and this compound layout shows the title of the results, which you can modify. Then it also gives you the table view of the same results. This part demonstrated to you how to create and run an analysis in Oracle Business Intelligence Server. This is also part of the testing and validating a repository. If there were errors that were discovered in the repository and we had continued on with the process, this simple report that we've built here would not have run at all and would have received an error. But this confirms that everything was consistent and there are no errors for us to fix, and we'll go ahead and now demonstrate the process of checking the query log. To check the query log, we want to return to Fusion Middleware Control, which in this case we will be referring to as the Enterprise Manager. We'll open a new tab and then we'll click on Enterprise Manager. Then we are automatically logged in because we did not log out at the point that we left this area. And then we'll go ahead and again click on Core Application. Once we come to the Core Application section, you want to click on Diagnostics. Then on the Diagnostics tab, you want to choose Log Messages, which is already pre-selected for us here. Then we want to scroll to the bottom under the View Search Log Files, and then we'll go ahead and click Save a Log to navigate to the Log Messages screen. Once you're in the Log Messages screen, leave the data range and set to the most recent 1 day. So this is what we already have right here, most recent 1 day, or you could choose 2 days, 3 days, depending on how far you want to go back in pulling the history that you want to review. Once we set the data range to 1 day, we want to deselect the message types except for trace. So we'll go ahead and select incident error warning, but we want to leave the trace active, and then we want to click on search. Give it a few moments to process. Then this shows us the logical SQL summaries that have been created, and also the log file that you can view in the specific SQL. Okay. Another way, if you have hundreds of lines of different logs that have been retrieved, you can always type in a message such as this: sending query to database, and then you click search. Then gives us this one message only. There should only be one message at this point, but if there are more than one, select the last message in the list. This is the most recent query sent to the database. So this is kind of what we want to see. In the bottom pane, click the collapse pane button. That is the arrow on the right hand side to view the log message. Your results here displayed show you the SQL which was submitted to the database, and this is how you check the query log of your message. So click the restore pane button. So we restored it down. Throughout this lab, you return to this view to check the query log. Every time you execute something that goes, which you understand that goes to the database, such as what we just did in running an analysis, you can come and check the query log to see what kind of SQL was generated. Again, thank you for watching, testing and validating a repository. I hope you had very important lessons along the way, and you wrote down some notes on what you thought was important, which you could use in the real world environment. And I look forward to lesson 20, where I will demonstrate more how to work with Oracle Business Intelligence and Enterprise Edition 11G.